get inspired, where we display the life of believers. Go hard for God daily, this is a lifestyle, you can believe it. Check out the episodes, we be on God mode. We got the recipe, it start with a B and it end with an E. That is the Bible, I keep it on me. Jesus is king, his light is in me. Sharing the gospel with practical living. Only tuition is paying attention. No enemy stopping me going, I'm going. Like living water, I'm flowing, I'm flowing. Alright y'all, we gotta get to the episode. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Kirby, CEO and founder of Go Hard for God Daily. Welcome back to another episode of Get Inspired. Listen, I'm excited to be here. We're at the top of the year, 2024. Listen, at the beginning of 2023, we closed off one of our last episodes of 2022, and we brought in the new year, 2023, talking about being real, being honest, and being open. And again, as I talk about this all the time, I'm real big on self-assessments, and this is the place that we were in all last year, being real, being honest, and being open. But listen, this year, what we're going to be doing, as I've already been talking about it already, is jumping into our next, understanding what our next is, or putting next steps in place. All right, this is something that you probably have heard me talk about before in other episodes or another episode as you've been following the Go Hard for God Daily Get Inspired podcast. But this year is going to be, what is my next? That's the question that I want you to kind of focus on. What is my next? Okay, so as you journey through the next, just know that there are going to be a lot of things that come up in your next. There are going to be a lot of things that happen here and there, but you're going to have to learn how to get up and keep going. All right. Before we get into today's episode, I know I kind of started off on fire already, but before we get into the episode for today, man, again, we just want to welcome all of our listeners here from across the globe, wherever you are. Shout out to you for those who are listening on Spotify, those who are listening on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, followers on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are. Appreciate you for tuning in to another episode. Listen, this year we're going to be focusing on challenging you to walk into your next, challenging you to become the better you, challenging you to stop making excuses, challenging you to get back up and keep moving. All right. So speaking of get back up, I want to tell y'all a story that happened here recently. So I just started getting back in the gym. I just started working out, getting my routine down. I'm in this thing, right? I know a lot of people who are just getting in the gym too, right? Y'all already preparing for summer? Yeah, I know. Some of y'all already preparing for summer, trying to get your bodies together and stuff like that. But for me, this is something that I've been needing to do for a while. I've been needing to just get myself into a rhythm of exercising and working out, because I believe as God transitions us and takes us to different places, then our bodies need to be in shape or in a place where we're able to handle the place that God may lead us to, right? So along with just taking care of the temple, I do believe that your body needs to be in the position or the shape to serve the person, the people, the community, or whatever the task or assignment that God has for you. All right, so that's another way to look at this and put this thing in perspective. So for me, I haven't really just thoroughly worked out on a consistent basis in years. Once I got out of the military, because I didn't have to work out every day anymore, I stopped doing it. And when I stopped doing it, it really fell off. And since I've been working out, there's some areas I'm like, man, your boy is weak. I am really needing some strength in a lot of different areas or whatever, but to God be the glory that I'm able to start this routine, start exercising and things like that. So since I've been working out, I'll tell you guys this story. I was in a gym here recently, and I probably was like on my third day. When we're talking about, developing a level of consistency, my desire now is to really be in the gym as much as I can, or exercising every day except for the weekends. So I'm probably about 3 days into my routine now, 3 or 4 days. I'm on the treadmill. I'm doing my normal, thing when I get in the gym. I go in the gym. I get on the treadmill. I set my timer to 20 minutes, and I start running because I was working on cardio at the moment. So I'm on pace. I'm getting it. I'm 10 minutes in, I'm 15 minutes in, and then my eyes begin to wander. Not in a bad way, but I just kind of start losing focus of my pace of my run. I can feel myself get out of rhythm. So what I started to do was, while I'm on a treadmill, I'm running. I'm about 16 minutes in. Only got about 4 minutes and a cool down left to finish out my cardio while I'm running. And I said, well, let me just close my eyes for a second and kind of catch my breath. I closed my eyes for about 4 seconds. While my eyes are closed, I feel like I'm still on pace. I feel like I'm still in the same rhythm that I've been in when my eyes were open. Little did I know, to God be the glory. I opened my eyes literally probably about 3 or 4 seconds later after I closed them. And I was at the end, the back of the treadmill. Listen, your boy had a very noticeable stumble, but I did not fall. I had a noticeable stumble, but I did not fall. And when I tell you a noticeable stumble, when I say that, I'm talking about, if you ever seen somebody running track and they're running and maybe they, feet get tangled up, and then they're like, their arms get to swinging, like they're reaching with each hand, trying to grab hold of something or whatever, and they actually fall. Yeah, that was me. At the back of the treadmill, I caught that last step before I actually was all the way off running. I had a noticeable stumble. I didn't fall though. I was able to keep my balance. I got right back on the treadmill and I got back to running. I didn't change my pace or anything, and I finished my workout. Here's what I want to get to you guys in this story. There's a lot of things that happened after that. I really began to think about it a lot, and I started to just pray. And I was like, God, thank you for keeping me. Thank you for not. I thank you for opening my eyes, or allowing me to open my eyes right before. If I had taken another second and a half, I would have thought that I was still running, and I probably would have been on the floor, and it would have been a really, really bad situation. I'm talking about people probably would have stopped their ellipticals and their treadmills and everything else to come and check on me. So, but I get back on, I finish my workout. Over this next period of time, I'm thinking like, man, that could have been bad. But I didn't feel ashamed. I wasn't embarrassed. I got my stuff and I did what I did. I left on out the gym and I was on about my day. But as I began to pray and think about that, it was like I got this understanding of how our walk is and how we endure some things, how we, are on pace, we're on track. You may be doing the things that you need to do. You may be running towards a goal. You may have a finish line. You may have something that you're running towards, but then you have a noticeable stumble. Can I tell you today that it's not how you stumble, or it's not how you fall, it's how you respond to the stumble or the fall. My response was to not worry about everybody that was around me. I wasn't looking back and forth to see who was holding their mouth, to see if they were laughing or trying to stop themselves from laughing. I got back on the treadmill. I didn't stop the pace. I gathered myself and I finished what I had set out to do. A 20-minute workout, 20-minute run, and a 5-minute cool down. I finished. And that is what I want to present to you guys today. At some point in your life, at some point in your race, at some point in your walk, or whatever it is that you're doing, you may have a noticeable fall where everybody sees it, but it's how you respond. If your response is, let me just stop, let me just walk away because I'm embarrassed, then you have lost. You have lost the battle. You have lost the race. You gave up. So my encouragement in this story is for you to not focus on the noticeable fall. There are things that are going to happen. In this life, you will have trouble. That is scripture. There are things that are going to happen. But be encouraged, man of God, woman of God. Be encouraged, because although you fall, it's God that will pick you back up and say, get back on there, finish the race. Now, a couple days later, well, actually the next day, when I went to go work out again, I start my pace and I realized that I had trauma. Because although I'm on pace and I'm I'm staying the course, I can feel my feet under me. I feel good. There was this thought that you're gonna fall this time. I can hear these words just playing in my mind. You're gonna fall this time. And I'm coming back in my mind. I'm running. I got my earbuds in. I got my music going, and I'm like, no, you got it. You got it. You good. You good. You good. Let's go. And I'm motivated and encouraging myself because I can hear the trauma starting to come. Like, you better hope you don't slip this time. It's like these constant things. And a lot of times, just because we stumble or when we fall or make mistakes in life or do certain things, there are going to be moments like that where the enemy may try to instill fear or doubt or some type of word to keep you or to get you out of the routine that you've started. This routine is for your betterment. This routine is for you to get in a place where God can really use you. But guess what? The enemy knows if you finish, if you finish, he knows that you've reached another level of power. You've reached another level to be able to impact or change a community, change an environment, change lives, or do something that maybe you wouldn't be able to do if you allowed the trauma to stop you from what you were doing. And thank God I was able to call my sister as well. And this is another key point that I want you to have in this. I was able to call my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, because we're on this thing together. And I'm talking to them, and I'm like, hey, man, that was a little trauma. I had a little trauma yesterday. So I didn't tell them about day 2. I think I talked to them like 2 days later. And I was like, yeah, I had a little trauma because when I was on the treadmill, I had this feeling, and I kept hearing these things like I'm a fall. Like I kept feeling like it was going to happen again or something like that. But I finished. Every time I went back, I finished. I didn't let it stop me from going. I didn't worry about, dang, if somebody's in here is like, oh, that's the dude who almost failed the other day. I wasn't worrying about that. I went in to do what I needed to do. And thank God I had them in my corner to say, trauma, we rebuke that. We send that back. You're going to finish. You're going to keep going. I had people to encourage me, people to keep me on pace, on the path that I'm on. That is something that you're going to need. That's going to be a vital part in your walk. Because if you have a noticeable stumble and people do start trying to shame you and bring you down and you don't have somebody to pick you up, it's easy to walk away or turn away because you don't want to deal with the shame. You don't want to deal with people pointing the finger at you saying, yeah, I seen you. That's the one who almost fell right there. You remember I told you about him in the gym, the guy who almost fell? If you don't have somebody to say, look, get back in there. So what? It's going to happen. Don't be concerned about what the noise is. We talked about this before. Kill the noise. You need the right voices in your ear. You need to be hearing the right words. You need to be hearing the things that are going to keep you motivated and keep you on the path that you need to be on. Keep you on pace so that you're able to finish the race, finish the job, finish the assignment, finish. When we're talking about focusing on your next, then you're going to have to be willing, you're going to have to be in a place where you're able to have a noticeable fall or a noticeable stumble and get back up. Get back up. So what? It happens to all of us. There isn't one person who's listening to this episode, who's listening to this podcast, or who have listened to this podcast that has not had a noticeable stumble or a significant fall in their life. But it's not about the stumble. It's not about the fall. It's about the response. How will you respond? Now, I want to also talk about changing your perspective, because in this, when you're having things that happen, noticeable stumbles or noticeable falls in your life, you have to change your perspective on some things. Sometimes It was necessary for your stumble. And again, I'm talking about the response as well. It was necessary for your stumble so others can be encouraged by how you responded. Because there may be some people who don't know how to respond to things that happen in their life, right? And according to how you responded, has now motivated and encouraged them to say, you know what? Dang, that boy almost fell out that treadmill. But he got back up like nothing happened. That one moment can be a moment that be significant to them at some point in their life. They seen you get up. They seen you keep going. They seen you stay motivated. They seen you finish the job, finish the race, finish the drill, finish the task, finish the assignment. They seen you finish. Although you had a noticeable stumble or a significant fall that happened, your response encouraged somebody for a time whenever they may have fallen or fall or whenever they may stumble. I changed my perspective. Maybe somebody needed to see that in me. Because God still kept me in the whole thing. He didn't allow me to fall and bust my face and be on the ground with a bloody nose and all this other kind of stuff. I opened my eyes right before that final step or two before coming off. Before falling off or possibly falling off that treadmill. Very noticeable stumble. Arm swinging and everything. But I look at that as maybe somebody needed to see somebody who is working out or somebody who going through something in a moment and how they responded. Because there may have been some people who were very, very tired and very wanted to really give up and just stop their workout. I don't know. But this is about changing your perspective on how you see things that happen in your life. Just because everything don't go the way that we think it should go, or, it doesn't mean that this is the end. It doesn't mean that, okay, I guess I got to give up. I guess I got to stop. I guess I got to make a detour. It doesn't mean that. Your response matters. God cares about your response and how you respond, not just to him, but to your situations, how you respond to people, how you respond in conversation. God cares about that. So whatever happens throughout your walk, throughout your race, or whatever it is that you're doing, how will you respond? Are you going to allow shame to make you quit, to make you throw in the towel? Are you going to allow the words and the conversations that people having about you make you throw in the towel? How will you respond to adversity when it happens in your life? Many of us do not know how to respond to adversity. Many of us do not know how to respond when we are on display for others to see our failures, for others to see when we stumble, when we fail. Many of us don't know how to respond to that. How will you respond? Will you get back up and finish? Or will you throw in the towel, put your head down, and walk to the locker room and never show up again? I've shown up every single day, except for weekends. I've shown up every single day to do it again. Trauma didn't keep me down. Shame didn't keep me down. Being exposed to several people didn't keep me down. I went right back in and did it again. And here's the truth. And my sister and my brother-in-law, they can testify to this. Every single time I went back, my time has been better. My endurance have been better. When I was usually doing my cool down, I still wanted to keep running because I didn't feel tired. So instead of 20 minutes, I'm going 25 minutes. The time that I'm supposed to be doing a cool down, where my pace is supposed to slow down, I turn the pace back up because I want to feel what I'm doing. I feel like I didn't get enough, but I kept going. I showed up again every single day and got better every single day. After a noticeable stumble and a potential significant fall, I showed back up, and every day I've been better. Every single day. If it happens for me, it can happen for you. Some of you may have already had a noticeable, significant stumble or fall. But how will you respond? That's the question. How will you respond to the adversity? How will you respond to the exposure, the exposing of a failure, or the exposing of you losing a rhythm, or losing a job, or losing something that you feel like you were really in a vibe. You was on the grind. You was in a groove, and everything went south. How will you respond? There are going to be things that happen this year, and this is not me wishing anything bad on you, but there are going to be things that happen unexpectedly. That was very unexpected for me. But how will you respond to the fall or the stumble that you have in your life? That's the question. However you answer that question right now in your mind, out loud, then that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So my desire for you, as I've shared that story, and again, my desire is to challenge you guys and things that happen. We're talking about practical living. We're talking about creating a lifestyle, creating certain habits, creating ways that's going to keep us getting better. You have to have a lifestyle of getting back up. You have to have a lifestyle of getting back up. We can get very comfortable at a certain pace. We can get very comfortable with things kind of being good, right? But there are times when God is going to stretch you. He's going to remove you out of that comfort zone. And you have to learn how to operate and function in the uncomfort. In the place that doesn't feel good to you. You're going to have to learn how to function in that place. You are. If everything that you do always revolves around you being comfortable, then there's a point in your life where you're going to stop growing. Because stretching comes with uncomfortness. Whenever you begin to stretch, there are some things that will make you very, very uncomfortable. There are some things that you may have to do that you didn't think you would have to do. There are some things that may occur unexpectedly that you're going to have to be able to press your way through that. How will you respond? That's the question. So today, as I've shared my story, as I've shared a downfall that I've had, you have to be real, be honest, be real, be honest, be open. We talked about that last year, being real, honest, and open. I'm real, honest, and open with you guys. I'm not afraid to share some things that happened to me, because none of our lives are perfect. And it serves you guys nothing for me to sit up here and act like everything is all good and dandy and yeah, he got everything. No, 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 no. There's a little bit of vulnerability here so that I can challenge you guys and help push you guys into your next. Sometimes that stumble is what pushes you into your next. Sometimes the fiery furnace is what pushes you into your next. Sometimes the lion den is what pushes you in your next. Sometimes the jail cell is what pushes you into your next. Sometimes being thrown in the pit is what pushes you into your next. Sometimes losing a job is what pushes you into your next. Sometimes there are going to be some things that are significant, falls or stumbles, that are necessary to push you into your next. The question is, how will you respond? And I'm going to end the episode on that. My desire is to challenge and push you guys into your next. I pray that you've gotten something from today's episode and that you understand the perspective and the point that I was making throughout the story of the stumble and the significant stumble and almost a great fall. But look at the response. I've gotten better ever since. And I still, to this day, have not stopped working out or going to the gym. Because I know what awaits me. I know what's ahead of me. And I'm going to get there. And you will too. How do you respond to your stumbles? How do you respond to your falls? That's going to be something that you need to decide today. Don't wait until it happens. I know sometimes we don't know until it happens. And that's okay. But it's all right to have a plan. To say, if something happens, if I stumble or fall, if this may happen, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to keep praying. I'm going to continue to seek God. And I'm going to allow him to minister to me in that. How do you respond? Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. I pray that it has blessed you. I pray that it has challenged you. And I pray that it pushes you into your next. I pray that throughout this year, as you go hard for God daily in every single area of your life, whenever you have a significant stumble or maybe even a great fall, that you get back up. That your response is, I'm getting back up and I'm going to finish. As you do that, I know you're going to continue to get better. If you've been blessed by this episode, make sure that you like, share, comment, leave a rating, a star or something on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go on our YouTube page. Hey, comment on the videos. Let us know how it bless you. Share it with somebody. These things help us to be in front of more people just like you so that we can encourage, so that we can challenge and help people go into their next and ultimately be Christ-like in the earth. Grace and peace. Peace and blessings. Until next time, Kirby Love signing off. Peace.